Hi everybody, it's T here, and this is the first video in my Deity series called Deity Day. I am doing this video in black and white purely because I like playing around with the camera on my computer and I think it looks cool. The first video that I'm doing is going to be on a goddess who is very near and dear to my heart because I am fascinated by her, and that is the great goddess CIRCE. She is actually known more as a sorceress or enchantress. She was very, very powerful with her magical abilities, and she is considered the goddess of magic and pharmakia, and that's actually where the modern day term pharmacology comes from, and it is the skill in the use of drugs and herbs and things like that, and she was second to nearly none in that category. She was considered a goddess, I believe, only by immortality, so I don't consider her any less of a goddess. She's considered a minor goddess, actually. She is the daughter of the sun god Helios and an oceanid named Perse. There are other accounts. That one is by Homer, by the way, but there are other accounts where she is said to be the daughter of Hermes and the great goddess Hecate herself. She resided on the island of Aia, and it's rumored that she was banished there. It was far off the coast of Italy, and she resided there with her sea nymphs as attendants. She would sit on a throne and weave a large magical loom and sing a beautiful siren type song that she would use to often lure in sailors and unfortunate sea travelers who would meet sometimes a not so nice fate whenever they ran into CIRCE. She did not like her territory being invaded, and she could definitely have a bit of wrath about her. If it looks like I'm reading, it's because I did make notes and kind of like an outline for this video because I didn't want to jump around too much, and there were certain things I definitely wanted to cover. So I have it up on my other part of my screen, so if it looks like I'm reading, that's kind of what I'm doing. She was described by Homer as a beautiful, fair-haired temptress. She is in every account that you find about her. She was very beautiful, very comely. Men were very attracted to her. But a lot of other accounts say that she actually had very fiery red hair. So it's kind of debatable. I've seen pictures in which she is has both. You know what I mean? I've seen different ones. She was rumored to ride around on a magical staff, fly around. And two of her symbols are a loom and a wand. She was very, very strong magically, and she would use her wand to conjure up magic and stir her potions and herbs, and so it's definitely become one of her symbols. She had brothers. One of them was Aedes, who was the keeper of the golden fleece, and another one was Perseus. I apologize for any mispronunciations in this video. I looked up phonetics, pronunciations, and spellings, but they do vary, so I apologize if I'm not saying it the way you've heard it, or the way you say it, or the way that's right, but hopefully you still get the picture. She had a sister named Pasiphae. She is considered, I would think anyways, more of a dark deity. You know how some deities are considered darker and other are lighter, because she did curse men and women that crossed her, or that she wasn't happy with, or that did something to hurt her. So she did tend to act upon revenge, so to speak. So I would consider her a darker deity, but she was rumored to also have quite a side of compassion. So it depends on where you read, where you get your information. I just want to let you know I found my information from various sites, a lot of public domains. So anything you want to find, you can look it up, and you'll find a lot of information on her on the internet. Although I just don't hear of a lot of people actually worshiping her, maybe because she's considered a minor goddess, but like I said, I don't consider her minor at all. She's quite strong and powerful. I think her name, Circe, the way it's spelled, CIRCE, I do believe that that's probably where the word circle came from. And it would kind of be fitting because she was so magically inclined. And as witches, we do use magical circles and stuff like that to protect ourselves and open them and close them. So I can kind of see how that name and that word relate. Her name can be translated into the word circus, and it also is derived from a Greek verb that means to hoop or surround with rings, which also seems a lot of very befitting to me with the whole magical thing. And her name also translates into the word falcon. So she is also, other than being associated with the wand and the loom, she's very much associated with birds of prey. And she was rumored to actually fly around or circle around her victims. So that's definitely kind of a bird of prey kind of a description. So she was said to fly around or circle around her victims and laugh at their woes that she cast upon them. So it's rumored that she studied under certain maidens, including the great Hecate herself. It's said that after she served her, she became a student. And in return for Hecate's great magic, she sold Hecate her soul. And Hecate also granted her access and power to the underworld. So that made her quite a bit more powerful for having that ability than if she would have been if she did not have that ability. So she had a lot of other things besides just her magical inclinations and her brains, her knowledge about the herbs and everything. She was definitely underestimated. I do feel like she's underestimated by a lot of people. And I'm very interested in herbs and things like that. So that's one of the reasons that she just resonates with me. She, like I said, she supposedly has a side of compassion, but there's not many written accounts of that. So she's famous mostly for what happened in the tale of Homer's Odyssey. And I have found various variations of this story where they're kind of tweaked a little bit or something's changed here and there. But the pretty much gist of it is that Odysseus and his men were traveling back to Ithaca after the Trojan War, and they happened upon Circe's island. Some of the men ventured onto the island. They ran into Circe. She bathed them. She provided them with a feast of wine and food. It was definitely laced with some of her herbs and potions, and she used her wand to conjure up some magic, and she turned them into swine. One of the men escaped, went back to Odysseus and the other survivors that stayed behind, told him of this, and of course Odysseus went to retrieve his men. On his way to see her, he ran into the messenger god Hermes, who obviously probably intercepted him and told him that in order to be able to not be turned into a pig himself, he needed to use a holy herb called moly, which is, I do believe it's now modern day known as a snowdrop. It's a flower, I believe. But he was to use this to be able to resist Circe, because she would obviously try to seduce him and get her way. She would definitely use her sexuality for things like that. But it would also prevent her from being able to bewitch him with any of her spells. So he did this, and he got Circe to reverse her spell on his men, and he and his men were to stay on her island with her for 1 year. During this time, they feasted, they thrived, they loved it, and Odysseus and Circe ended up having 3 children. And the names of these children are a bit of a debate. I know the main ones that I have found to be the children that they had were Latinus, Ardius, who is also known as Agrius, and I'd say the most popular, well-known one is Telegenos. The other names I have found for these children are Romus, Antius, and Ardius. And I do believe that there are 3 cities named after these gentlemen, and supposedly they are where the names of those cities came from. But Telegenos eventually accidentally killed Odysseus with a poisoned dart, and he had brought the body back to Aea, and Circe brought him back to life. I do believe that she felt bad that Odysseus was dead, so when she brought him back to life, in thanks for doing so, she gave Telegenos, Penelope, and I believe there was one other person involved in that whole thing, she granted them immortality. So I do think that that does show a bit of her compassion, because I do feel that she did have feelings for Odysseus, because after that year that they spent with her when they were to leave and return to Ithaca, she actually gave him directions on where to go and have a safer journey, and the most important part of that was she granted him a safe and sound trip to the underworld so that he could get direction, which I do think she would not have done for just anybody, because she just was known for not being polite like that. And not only did she turn men into swine and animals, but she was also known for turning women into serpents. Her other main consort that I noticed throughout the literature was the Prince of Colchis and obviously Odysseus. Those were the 2 main ones. And apparently the prince cheated on her, and she turned that woman into a serpent, and it just didn't go down well. So she's definitely vengeful. I just wanted to see if I can throw anything else in there. I just made the conclusion that Circe was extremely powerful. It's said that she is second only to Hecate as far as magical skill and ability and knowledge. So I don't hear a lot about her, but if you think about it, Hecate is so strong and powerful that if you are second only to her, you are quite a force to be reckoned with. So I think Circe is definitely underestimated. She was beautiful, alluring, cunning, and definitely dangerous. And it seemed that she had a bit of trust issues, because she did not let many people close to her. If they even got near her island, she would, turn them into some animal form. So, I don't even know what to say about that. She had quite a fearsome reputation. I am very jealous of her magical abilities. I am just aspiring to be half as knowledgeable about her in herbs and potions and things like that. And if you think about it, as witches, herbs are just some of the very basic and brick and mortar items to the magical house that we build. We have used them in our magical workings from the beginning of time. You use them not just in magical workings, you use them in everyday for cooking, for medicinal purposes, for emotional purposes, whether you're using lavender or something like that to kind of relax yourself, or mint to revive you and wake you up. There are just so many uses for it. So I think that her being so potent with that knowledge definitely makes her a deity that is not to be forgotten. If you are looking for a deity that has those kind of qualities, she's definitely one you want to look into. If you really strive to be an amazing practitioner, an herbalist, and you want strong magical powers and knowledge. I do think that she is one you want to try to contact, and hopefully, if she contacts you, then that's wonderful. You can learn a lot from her. I definitely would like to work with her. I hope that this sheds a little bit of light on her, and hopefully some of you guys have learned something. Hopefully you have developed an interest, and maybe you can look into working with her, things like that. Let me know your experiences, and if you guys have any other information, either to correct me on or to add about this person, CIRCE, this wonderful goddess that we are talking about today, put it in the comments. Let me know. I definitely want to hear feedback from you guys. The videos are going to get better. Right now I'm doing everything on a webcam, but I am going to be getting a camera where I can edit better and do more effects and add some pictures and stuff in. But I did want to get this video out there. I know everybody's kind of time crunched with Christmas just passing and New Year's coming. So I just wanted to get this video out and kick this series off with CIRCE because I absolutely adore her. And next week, just check me out, subscribe. I will be featuring another god or goddess. I'm not sure who yet. I will let you guys know in a day or two. Like this video, feel free to comment, and check out my Facebook page. Subscribe here. And until the next time, many, many blessings to you all, and take care.